g'day guys, Sam here from Trade to Post, but to look at optimism. And if you look at optimism and the structure, it's not looking that favorable at the moment, and we'll go into the reasons for it. Here is a method that I used, which is Fibonacci channels, and or pitchfork, sorry, and it's not looking good, and here are the reasons for it. If we were to use the previous lows along this, what supposedly looks like a grind line, so let's just get these out the way for a sec, these weekly levels, and it's probably all weekly levels here. Just cleans up the chart a bit. You can see we can get rid of that. You can see the levels where I placed the circle. It's a grind. So what we have, in essence, it looks like a massive bearish structure in a way, which is sad to see. You can say that is a wedge of some form. Yeah, it's very similar to Bitcoin actually. A rising wedge and then breakdown. It does come with a slightly lower high, but this lower high is still there. Look interesting enough to find that it bounces off this trend line. Strong support. I do think that there'll be accumulation here and then another reversal. So we'll get a bit of a formation of some sort, and then it will make a decision to go further up or come back down again. This breakdown is going to be bad. Then we've got these levels that it will find, but it seems like it's going to end up what seems to be the next bottom. I think it's headed towards that direction, and when you look at it, there's a lot of accumulation here, so they might just go just below it and then back up for a double bottom type of scenario. And in terms of the channel, you can see this level of the channel has a lot of support or action. So it might come back down to here, take out the liquidity that was there. I don't think it will drop that, and then reverse. So that will be a good entry point somewhere in here for the hodls, average in, but it does look bearish in nature. Let's just clean this chart and give you a nice one to start with. So when you look at the way I've drawn trend lines, supporting trend lines, it is subjective, and if you were to use this on the 4-hour or an 8-hour and above, these wicks will be insignificant, and you will look at the body of the candles. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the body of the candles in most cases, and there was this trend line, and when we break that trend line, you can see how it drops a fair bit more, ever so to the meter of that level, which is probably a point of control. And so we have our methods. The point of control was roughly there, I would say. I'll just label it. So that's an important level, and then this bottom here as well. And then we've got this secondary, this next one that comes out. So that's a reference point. And then we have another reference point. And we have a third point. So we have confluence with 3 points, which makes it significant, valid. And now we've got the fourth. So having fourth, the fifth one will break through likely. And then we look at, so what we're seeing is the slowing down of the descent. And in my opinion, there's a number of things that can take place. Here there is a lot of liquidity, like I mentioned. And what we'll do is, what I start to do, add to my charts is LQ for liquidity level. And what I want to do is make that yellow. Okay, I haven't figured out what standard I use, but there we go. So it's likely that this is the first grind line, this is the second grind line, and then the third is here. There is that very likely possibility that we'll probably get a rejection. If we do this, there might be just a small rally here, our 618, and then come down, and that might be our entry. Then the other possible entry is from here to there, and then we'll look at these, the 0.5 and the 618 from that perspective. So that's going to be a good entry to short. We've got confluence there, previous there. Look at this. Even the small time frames, we get, that was a head and shoulders, what it looks like. Now, if this was to play out, and we do measured moves, obviously, we can do this. Let's see what this gives us. Measured move. So we're going to see a 0.5, that fib being acting as resistance along the way. Let's see if we change this around a bit. No, we can't. So we're not in logarithmic. Okay, becomes a 618. Let's just change that. Interesting. So it's 0.382 there. So we've got to look at it from a number of perspectives. And from a fib Elliott wave perspective, we can say that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially 5. We might just use this as 1, 2 there. That's still valid. The 3 and 4 is the most complex one. On the way up, the 3 and 4 is the most complex in most cases, and so 5 could be anywhere. 5 could just be, so if this is not 3 but over there, then we can probably use this as a level. And now when we look across, it makes sense. From a cycle perspective, it's starting to make sense. Like we've broken that level as a grind line, roughly, and it's at a delayed, or it's a lagging structure compared to the other alts. So this is interesting how it's taking place. I still got my hold from there. So that this, so we hit its all-time high, and the way it's coming back, it is likely to come back down, and maybe just take this out. Guessing at this moment. Let's look at it from another perspective. If I was to use that and that, and let's just add a few more layers to it. There we go. Got the 1.272 and the 0.68. This might make sense there. And let's look at it from another perspective, from the all-time high to the all-time low. The 618 is also there. Oh, 618's there. Okay. And that's where the neutral catch. So we might not come all the way down. We will not take this out. We might just do a double bottom and then just go up. And basically this is a wave 5 from another perspective, an ABC correction, another small wave 5 down, and then up. But it is a hard one to say. Here is another way of looking at this. Now let me have another look. I'll make the bottom as my 618. And the ones there, perfect. Yeah, it does work. So we've got a lot of symmetry, and you can have a look at this, freeze it, have a look at what I've been doing if I'm going too quick. So this is going to be a strong support level, in my opinion. The 786, it's going to come down to this, but this is not good. So you can probably apply the fib fan. You can say, okay, we got that. It's slowly coming down, and if we look at it from another perspective, let's see. just say that's our case. And in many cases, we can do that and ignore the wick or include some of the body of the anywhere. That could do this or it could do that. Damn it. And that's the problem. So for now, we are finding this as a major resistance. And I would say that this is more likely there. Why I say that? Then we get this second channel and these two line up perfectly. So the bull market is probably going to start after we break this channel or this trend resistance trend line. So we've got one reference, two, got a number of references. And so what's likely, if this doesn't drop anytime soon, if this is not the drop, we get into this level and then potentially drop. So if that's going to happen, then Bitcoin's probably going to drop as well a fair bit. But yet again, so there's some also more advanced. So there is a slight possibility that it goes up instead. And what we do is we take out the top. We take out that and then we come back down. Yep. We'll just continue on. But there is a slight chance. Bitcoin's done this. I've seen this many times where we have these fake outs and then it seems like a major move, but then only to come back. But then we can find this as a support level. If this was to come down slowly, then we'll look at it from another perspective. You can see I'm just scenario role playing, but to me it's more likely that we get a shorting position in here. We've got confluence all the way there. If there's a bounce, that's going to be a shorting position, and then yeah, I'll be looking forward to shorting that. And also I better get rid of some of my optimism coins. I should have taken some out there because my goal is to just accumulate as much optimism as I can. If it comes down there with the same cash, get more optimism coins, and then when it goes back up, I've got more money to what's the word? Compound. That's the word I was looking for. To more compound my investment, and that could be a huge move. This could be a strong drop. The other thing that I forgot to do is just a ball roughly figure, a measured move. And again, 1.414. So that measured move could also be in that area as well. Interesting. So that's my thoughts for now with optimism. More likely to find the shorting position, a bounce, and then a shorting position if it gets to that height. Please subscribe and give us a like and share, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.